Now, what is the UN doing to help?
The UN, right now, the various proposals or resolutions have been put forth by countries within the UN in the Security Council. They haven't been successful. Right now, the African Union is in Darfur, but they're underfunded and undermanned. There's only over 1,000 soldiers there. I can't remember the exact number. But Darfur is the size of Texas, and their mandate, the AU's mandate, is to basically observe what's going on. So they're not allowed to stop any of the killing or the raping or any of that stuff. So, and resolutions within the Security Council have not been passed that are forceful enough to actually allow UN troops to go in and stop what's happening.
What do you think the UN should be doing?
I think that the UN has a responsibility to go in and take an active role in prosecuting those who are involved in the crimes. Over 200,000 have been killed, that's the estimate. It could be a lot more, it could be a little bit less, a lot less. They don't really know, because the government of Sudan is thought to be complicit in this. In fact, there's quite a bit of evidence that they are, sending planes, sending troops in. This is called a civil unrest. This is called the government of Sudan says they're fighting the rebels in Darfur. I think the UN should recognize that this is genocide, or if not genocide, ethnic cleansing, or if not that, it's just people being killed for no good reason, and the UN needs to step in. And the Security Council, the way it's set up, does not allow for this to happen very easily at all.
Okay. What is preventing foreign aid?
Foreign aid, the main problem with foreign aid, is, from what I understand, I'm not an expert, is that it's very dangerous in Darfur, and because there aren't UN troops in there to protect aid workers, and the African Union is so dispersed because Darfur is so big, aid workers don't have much protection. So some are working in refugee camps in just beyond the border of Chad and Chad and Sudan, where militiamen generally go in and do attacks anyways, and then some are working in Darfur. So it's very dangerous. I think over 10 aid workers have been killed since the conflict started. And a lot have pulled out recently. So it's the dangers that make it difficult for aid.
Okay. What could independent countries be doing to help the situation?
I think the main thing that independent countries could do is, well, first of all, donating money to aid groups is always good, but that's not really getting at the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that there's a government that is supporting militiamen and involved in what is going on, so we need to pressure the UN, which is an international body. Independent countries need to pressure the UN and work within the UN to stop this. And some people will say, if the UN isn't effective, independent countries should go in and stop this themselves, which is a valid argument. So I don't really know.
Okay.
To the people of Darfur, you have suffered unspeakable violence, and my nation has called these atrocities what they are: genocide. For the last 2 years, America joined with the international community to provide emergency food aid and support for an African Union peacekeeping force. Yet your suffering continues. The world must step forward to provide additional humanitarian aid. And we must strengthen the African Union force that has done good work, but is not strong enough to protect you. The Security Council has approved a resolution that would transform the African Union force into a blue-helmeted force that is larger and more robust. To increase its strength and effectiveness, NATO nations should provide logistics and other support. The regime in Khartoum is stopping the deployment of this force. If the Sudanese government does not approve this peacekeeping force quickly, the United Nations must act. Your lives and the credibility of the United Nations is at stake. So today I'm announcing that I'm naming a presidential special envoy, former USAID Administrator Andrew Natsios. to lead America's efforts to resolve the outstanding disputes and help bring peace to your land.
Okay, Ryan, what is STAND?
What is STAND? STAND is a group, or STAND stands for Students Taking Action Now, Darfur. It was founded in the U.S. It was originally a bunch of college groups advocating for Darfur because of the genocide, or what's being called genocide, going on there. And then it moved to college campuses, university campuses in Canada, and now it's spreading to the high schools. So we have a group at our school of about 20-25 students.
What are the members in STAND doing to help the situation?
What we try to focus on is raising awareness within the school, first of all. So what we did early in the year is we made up these green ribbons that one of them you're wearing. And we distributed them among students initially just to raise some awareness about the fact that a genocide or a possible genocide is actually happening in Darfur, because a lot of people just don't know about it. It doesn't get much media coverage. And then from there on, once the awareness was raised a little bit, we joined in with the Stand Canada campaign called Rock the House, which aimed to send as many letters as possible to the Prime Minister and other government officials to try to influence Canada's policy on Darfur, which has up until now consisted of sending aid. We've donated money, and also we have put a little bit of political pressure on certain countries, and within the UN we've advocated for Darfur, but we didn't feel that enough was being done. We're in a good position, and our school managed to send over 500 letters, so that was really good.
What are STAND meetings?
STAND meetings are usually Tuesdays. In fact, they're going to be Tuesdays from now on. We'll try to make it every Tuesday up in Mr. Falcone's room.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.